In the vast world of Turkish drama, where faces appear and fade like passing seasons, there are only a few stars who imprint themselves onto the hearts of millions. And among those rare names, two souls stand unchallenged, Özge Yağız and Gokberk Demirci, a pair whose on-screen chemistry and Yamin felt so real, so raw, so unexpectedly magnetic, that the audience secretly wished their fictional promise would bloom into a real-life love story. But destiny, as always, had its own beautiful rhythm. This is not just a tale of co-actors. Not just a journey of two rising stars. This is a fan-created cinematic retelling of a love that could have happened, a marriage story that exists in the hearts of their supporters, a story where two worlds collide, two dreams merge, and two gentle souls discover that sometimes, just sometimes, the universe writes its own script, far more magical than anything captured on a TV screen. This is the story of Ozge and Gokberk's imagined marriage, a tale of devotion, vulnerability, sacrifice, and the quiet strength of two people who learn to navigate love under the spotlight. Their story, whether one calls it destiny or coincidence, began the moment they stepped onto the set of Yamin. At that time, Ozge was rising, yet still fresh, showcasing a natural elegance, while Gokberk had already built a reputation for quiet confidence and emotional depth. They met not with fireworks, but with a respectful nod, a small, subtle acknowledgement that their partnership would be something meaningful. During the early days of shooting, they hardly talked more than necessary. They were professional, precise, and deeply focused on embodying their characters, Reyhan and Amir. But something unusual happened as scenes unfolded. Their acting synced effortlessly, their emotions aligned, and their chemistry, unrehearsed, unpredicted, began to shine with an authenticity no script could manufacture. Their first serious conversation happened during a break between emotional scenes. Ozge, sitting alone on a bench, reviewing her lines, noticed Gokberk walking toward her. He sat beside her, offered her a bottle of water, and asked, "Are you okay?" That last scene was tough. She smiled softly, "It was intense, but I like challenges." That single exchange became a turning point. Gokberk discovered her quiet strength, Ozge discovered his gentle warmth. And though neither of them realized it yet, the spark had already begun. As the weeks passed, their comfort grew. They laughed more freely. They rehearsed scenes long after everyone else left. They shared small secrets, personal stories, and dreams that only artists understand. The bond was unspoken, but undeniable. The world saw two co-stars drawing closer. But only their hearts knew that something much deeper was unfolding. Love rarely announces itself with grand gestures. Sometimes it grows in silence, between shared scripts, quiet rides home, and midnight phone calls where two people talk about everything and nothing. For Ozge and Gokberk, love did not begin with a confession. It began with support. Ozge was ambitious, hardworking, and fiercely independent. She pushed herself to extreme limits to perfect her craft. Gokberk admired her dedication. He admired the way she entered every scene with sincerity, how she carried emotional heaviness even when the cameras stopped rolling. One winter evening, after a particularly emotional shoot, Ozge broke down, not dramatically but quietly. She thought she was alone. She sat in her car, the windows fogging from her breath, tears slipping silently onto her script pages. The pressure had become overwhelming. Gokberk, who had noticed her absence from the set, walked outside and saw her car lights on. He approached gently and tapped on the window. "Ozge," he said softly, "open the door." She wiped her tears quickly, embarrassed, but he sat beside her without saying a word. After a long silence, he finally whispered, "You don't always have to be strong. Not in front of me." That night, she realized something profound. He was not just a co-star. Not just a colleague. He was a safe place. Slowly, subtly, their hearts aligned. They walked together more often. They ate lunch in the same corner of the set. They shared playlists. He made her laugh. She made him thoughtful. They discovered how beautifully their personalities complemented each other, her soft-spoken nature, his grounding presence. And in that delicate blend of companionship and admiration, something sacred blossomed. They were falling in love. It happened during an out-of-city shoot. They were filming in a quiet village surrounded by olive trees and golden fields. After the shoot, the crew gathered around a bonfire. Laughter filled the air, but Ozge wandered off a bit, enjoying the silence of the countryside. Gokberk followed her, not intentionally, but instinctively. He found her sitting on a rock, looking at the stars. "You always disappear," he teased. "I like quiet places," she replied. "You're a quiet place," he whispered, without meaning to say it aloud. Ozge turned to him, her eyes widening slightly. "Gokberk," he exhaled deeply, gathering courage. Ozge, I don't know when it started. But when you're not around, I feel it. When you're upset, I feel it. When you laugh, it becomes my favorite sound. She stared at him, stunned. And I don't want to pretend anymore, he continued. I'm falling for you. The night wind brushed past them like a blessing. Ozge smiled, her heart finally surrendering to the truth. Good, she whispered, because I've already fallen. Their first hug that night wasn't dramatic. It was warm, sincere, and filled with the promise of something real. Their relationship grew quietly, protected from the world. But fame has a way of peeking through even the smallest cracks. Fans noticed their matching smiles, their subtle glances, their comfort with each other. Rumors began swirling everywhere, are Ozge and Gokberk together? They denied it, not because they were afraid, but because they wanted to protect something beautiful and still growing. Despite the pressure, their bond only deepened. They traveled together secretly. They watched sunsets from rooftops. They cooked simple meals after long days. They held hands behind closed doors and shared dreams about the future. But love, when real, cannot stay hidden forever. Gokberk knew he didn't want to lose her. He also knew she valued simplicity over extravagance. So he prepared a proposal that reflected her heart. He took her to the same olive field where he had confessed his feelings. The sun was setting, the sky glowing with soft pink and orange. He handed her a notebook filled with memories, photos, handwritten notes from the set, small sketches of moments they shared. On the last page was a message. Life gave me a gift the day it brought you into my path. Will you walk the rest of the path with me? When she looked up, he was already kneeling, holding a simple but elegant ring, one that matched her gentle spirit. Ozge covered her mouth, tears filling her eyes. Of course, she whispered. 1,000 times, yes. Their wedding was not a grand celebrity event. It was warm, intimate, and breathtakingly personal. The venue, a coastal garden filled with white flowers, lanterns, and soft Turkish music floating in the breeze. Ozge's look, a minimal gown, delicate and graceful, just like her. Gokberk's look, a classic black suit, elegant and timeless. As she walked down the aisle, their eyes locked, soft, emotional, full of silent gratitude. Neither needed words. Their hearts spoke everything. When they exchanged vows, their voices trembled. Gokberk, I found peace in you. A home I never knew I needed. Ozge, you loved me quietly, softly, and deeply. And that love became my strength. Their kiss marked the beginning of a new chapter. Marriage wasn't perfect, but it was real. They cooked together, traveled together, fought over silly things, supported each other's careers, and protected their privacy. They built a home filled with laughter, plants, books, and memories. They weren't just lovers. They were best friends, partners, soul companions. Every day, they proved that love is not found, it is built. In this imagined universe, their future glittered with promise. A home near the sea. Projects they dreamed of creating together. Adventures around the world. Quiet evenings with tea and heartfelt conversations. A love that grows stronger with time. Their story became an example of how two gentle souls can build a peaceful empire of love, respect, and togetherness. This imagined marriage story of Özge Yağız and Gökberk Demirci is more than a fan fiction. It is a tribute to their chemistry, their artistry, and the emotional connection they created on screen. It is the story fans wished to see, a story of loyalty, softness, and connection in a chaotic world. Whether real or imagined, one truth remains. Sparkles. Some connections are so powerful that they continue living in the hearts of millions. Sparkles. Some stories become unforgettable even if they never happened. And the story of Ozge and Gokberk is one of them.